Morning. Thank you for joining me on a Saturday morning. Where's my coffee? I've got my coffee and happy to be talking about my favorite topic, salary negotiations. And I want to challenge us today a little bit on how we negotiate our salaries. So we're going to get started here in a minute. I want to give people a chance to come on and join. I know this is going to get recorded, so you can always find time later and view the replay. But I'm just going to give it a few more minutes so people have a chance to join. Pippa, I had to ask my dog to leave because she can get noisy. Okay, I'm going to get started here. So, what I want to challenge us today is looking at our salary and finding ways to double it. It might sound a little bit out there, but it's absolutely possible. And this is based on studies and experience and data that shows that this is a possible strategy that works if executed correctly, and which is what I'm working here today to give you the tactics, strategies to get that additional salary for yourself, compensation for yourself. So the typical approach to negotiation might involve aiming for a 20% increase, right? So going up to 120,000, assuming you're making $100,000. But let's say you've heard the advice that when negotiating for ourselves, we need to be intentional about going higher. So you say to yourself, I'm going to aim higher and set my target at $130,000. But this is what usually happens from my experience. Once you are at 130, then when it comes to prime time, meaning the day of the negotiation, you're going to say to yourself, 130 sounds or is really high. Maybe I need to be more realistic, or maybe I'm going to be perceived as a little bit too greedy. So I'm going to go with 115,000. And then inevitably, your future employer is going to reduce their counter with some lower number. And then you end up at 112,000 on a good day. So what I'm here to tell you is that 30% increase in salary is still very, very low. So let me say, challenge you lovingly, what if instead you decide to target $200,000, which is doubling your salary? I know it sounds unrealistic, but the psychology and strategy behind this approach are grounded in proven negotiation tactics. So this move, first of all, does two things. It makes a strong statement about how you perceive your worth. And it sets a new anchor point in the negotiation. And I've talked about anchors multiple times in my newsletters. So if you're not subscribed to the newsletter, please subscribe. It's called Breaking Barriers, and you can subscribe right here on LinkedIn. And what I talk about is anchors help you set the standard high, and all of the discussions then starts at that. So when you say 200,000, when you counter back and forth, you're going to be somewhere in the vicinity of 200,000. There's no way you're going to go all the way down to 100,000. So now instead of the 115, you're working with a bigger number, the 200,000. So even if the employer balks at the 200, you are now negotiating from so much higher. Now, the other thing that this does is puts you in the luxury brand category, right? This is what you are thinking is you're showing or revealing is what your brand is. The big hurdle, though, in aiming high is the fear of failure. What if I double my salary and I fall short? So that's what usually is happening in our own minds. You know, the self-talk or the doubt or the challenges of our self-esteem. So I challenge you to think this way. So what if I fail? So what if I fail? Even falling short when you've aimed high puts you in a better position than if you'd set at 115,000 or 120,000 or 130,000. If your ambitious target is 200,000 and you land at 185,000, guess what? You're still substantially better off than where you were going to be. But we're not done yet. So let's just take that fear out of our minds and say, what if I fail? But we're still going to try and get to the 200,000. I'm going to show you here in a second. So let's say you've psyched yourself up and you're ready. All right, fantastic. You're ready to start going high, going to 200. What we're going to do next is we're going to work on your want portfolio. What a want portfolio is everything that you desire. Because a lot of the people I speak with sometimes will say something like, I'm not in it for the money. I'm comfortable where I'm at. Or I have a great work-life balance. I don't want to mess with that. Absolutely. I don't want you to mess with that either. I want you to feel fulfillment mentally from a work perspective, as well as a work-life balance with your family. So during your want portfolio time in my program, what we do is prioritize what are those things that are most important to you. So say you're saying something like, in the job that I'm at, they do a really nice job of giving me opportunities to learn and develop. So that goes into your want portfolio. And let's say that is worth 20,000 a year. Put that into the want portfolio. And I can go, several days on the want portfolio, but you get the idea. What we're doing is building up the components of what could make up that 200,000. So 20,000 could be that learning and development. And that actually gives you a lot of trading points with your employer when you get to the time of negotiation. Okay, I'm going to see. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to see if there were any comments in the comments section, but nothing here. Okay. So in my program, we spend time developing this because, I 100% agree that just getting the hard dollars is not sufficient for a great work experience or a great career experience. So you have to be very mindful of how you build that 200,000. All right, next, what we are going to do is we are going to work on the luxury brand. Remember, we are saying now is that you are the luxury brand. You are somebody who is going to solve your employer's problems. So in order for that to be realistic, you're going to have to start working now on you exuding that executive presence. So I'm going to give you 3 tools. There's, of course, many ways to do this, but I'm going to give you 3 tools for this. You ready for it? When you're interviewing, the power of reciprocity is very important to be invoked. So reciprocity in all the work that Robert Cialdini has done on influence and persuasion, it's borrowed from his work. So when you are talking to your hiring manager, future hiring manager, and you must ask this question: what is keeping you up at night? What is keeping you up at night gives you the keys to the kingdom, because they're going to tell you the biggest problem that they're trying to solve. It could be a culture problem. It could be a revenue problem. It could be a cost problem. Whatever that is, you're going to then say, wow, that is a significant, wicked problem that doesn't have an easy solution. But you know what? In my past, I have worked on a similar project, and I think I can give you some really good learnings from what I went through. Would you be open for me to sending you that work product? Of course, I will redact any pertinent information from my previous employer, but would that help you? So this fosters a sense of reciprocity, because now you're doing what we would call it a favor. And what in our minds, when somebody does a favor for us, we want to give back something. We want to pay it back. And in this case, your hiring manager is going to pay you back in the way of their vote, or at least be very much more amenable to providing their vote in your favor. So reciprocity, don't forget that. Keep that in mind. Keep that first and foremost when you are interviewing with your future hiring manager. Okay, the next one is you have to make sure that you encourage your hiring manager to explore your thought leadership on social media. As they become engaged with your thoughts and posts, their commitment to you increases, because now you have primed them about how you are the dream candidate for that job. Now, of course, that means before you get into the interview, you must spruce up your social media presence, and just do it on LinkedIn, because that is our professional network that exists for everybody. And in fact, let's digress just a little bit here. If you are somebody who wants to get to that $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 salary, you have to invest in yourself. There is no other way to put this. Invest in services of you don't have to engage with me. You can, of course, I offer that, but there are people who specialize in LinkedIn LinkedIn profile updates. There's a lot out there. One that I work with is Portia Obeng. She's great, but pick whoever. But get your LinkedIn profile looking like the $200,000, $300,000 executive that you are, because 95% of recruiters are finding job candidates through LinkedIn, and over 90% of hiring managers are looking at your LinkedIn profile before they even go into the interview. Because just let's face it, we are all busy, right? So when we are going into an interview, we want to make sure our time is not wasted. So we want to make sure that when we look at the profile, it looks like, it looks professional, it looks buttoned up. The keywords that I'm looking for as a hiring manager are existing in the profile. So it's really, really important to get your profile ready, and not just looking pretty, also needs to have some substance. So your headline, your about section, your recommendations, please get that ready before you go into the interview. All right, so the next one is social proof. How are you going to do social proof during the interview process, you ask? Okay, so what I want you to do is bring up positive feedback from past colleagues, managers, or clients. And how? So when you're asked a question, so say, what are your strengths? So you can start that answer with saying, my manager says that I am the go-to person for X, Y, and Z. Or my leadership trusts me to execute on all revenue generating projects because I excel at X, Y, and Z. Or my colleagues come to me every time there is a problem that has these types of issues. Now you're going to, of course, tweak this to what is best suited for your own style and substance. but you suddenly sprinkle this into every conversation. Make sense? All right. Now let's say you have an offer, right? Fantastic. So when you're negotiating, this is how it's going to unfold. You're going to say, I want 200,000, and they're going to say, that's way too high. How about 160,000? Now, internally, you've already significantly improved from the 120, 130, 115 that your previous strategy was going to yield you. So let's just say you, for easy math, you are at 160, the offer. What you're going to say next is, well, you obviously I understand 100% that budgets are a constraint. I'm sure that's what you're running into. And I appreciate that you were able to get me to 160. However, what other ways do you have to get me to 200? I understand base is not an option. What other options are there? And let them spitball a few things to you. Let's say it could be, I can give you learning and development. I could give you an extra week of vacation. But this is when you rely on your want portfolio. Remember the want portfolio we spend time designing based on your priorities. And again, for easy math, let's say learning and development is very important to you. So at that point, then you say, okay, I appreciate it, and I am absolutely thrilled about this role. So let's work in a learning and development budget. So what did we say? 160. So now you have the learning and development at another 20,000. So that's 180. And then I know it's going to be scary, but please keep pushing a little bit more. It's like, okay, so that is great. I'm thankful to you for being so creative and working with me. I'm thrilled to be able to make an impact right away. What other things can we do? How about a flexible Friday? Because I have to pick up my son and daughter, etc. on Fridays. I'll work and, I'll work like a 10-hour days. Again, whatever is relevant to your situation, your work, your family, use that to justify and then ask for that. So it could be the flexible Friday, it could be the work from home, it can be extra week of vacation, whatever that is. So push, and what we call this is, what I call this is the rightful nibble. So nibbling in negotiation is something where you start, you ask for small things, and like keep nibbling for more and more. And it's sometimes seen as a hardball tactic that is not really exciting for people. People don't like it. But in this case, I call it the rightful nibble, because you're nibbling in the right way, because you're saying, employer, I asked for 200,000. I can deliver, because based on all of the things I've shared that I can make an impact. But now I need your help, and I'm giving you my help to help me bridge the distance between my ask and what you're able to offer. And so you're nibbling rightly and how you can get to your 200,000. And let's just say you can get another week of vacation, and that gets you to your 200,000. There you go, right? So instead of the 115 or 120 or 130, you're now at 200,000. How you got to the 200,000, of course, is slightly different depending on your situation, depending on what's important to you. But in the end, your compensation package is 200,000. Now, people are going to ask or say things like, well, what about the 90 days? You said you can double your salary in 90 days. So for this strategy to 100% be effective, you must look for a new role. Okay, so if you get your thought leadership going on LinkedIn, if you get your profile done, if you spruce up your interviews, absolutely possible. I have clients just last month that have gotten significant jobs within 45 to 55 days. So significantly lower than the average. So the average, people are saying 4 months to 7 months, sometimes in 90 days, but very rarely. But if you follow, again, you don't have to follow my program, but you can. So my Resolute program, my average is under 60 days. So you can absolutely sign up with me and we can get you there. But there are, of course, many coaches out there who have ways to get you to a new interview in less than 90 days. So explore that. Invest in yourself, right? Unless you are intentionally driving your career bus, it's going to stay stagnant. You're going to stay stuck. But if you're participating in this live event, then I know you are interested in learning about how to grow your career, how to elevate yourself. The next question I get is, what about existing roles? Can you use this strategy? And what I'll bluntly tell you is that it's quite difficult to double your salary at current jobs. Can you increase your salary at current jobs? Absolutely possible. I'm going to call her Sarah. I just had a client, Sarah, who got a promotion. She's been wanting to be a manager of people, and her executive presence and communication style was something we needed to tweak. And we did that. We role played, we practiced, and we really up-leveled her executive presence, and that allowed her to be promoted. And she got a 28% increase in her salary. And even though her company publishes that only 10% is the max you can get, even during one level to another promotion, she was able to secure 28% because we worked on her presence, her strategy, her negotiation tactics. So all of that yields significant benefit even at current roles. So don't let people tell you that you can negotiate at current roles. So that's one. Second, in order to double your salary, you must have leverage. Is it possible at existing jobs? Yes, but you must have leverage. And how do you get leverage? By securing, unfortunately, another job offer. And that, again, brings us back to where we were before, right? So you still apply the same strategy at your next job offer, and you still get to the 200,000 in the example. Now, once you have the job offer, say you still want to give your existing company a chance. So absolutely, give them a chance. There could be many different reasons why you want to give them that chance, but go ahead. But you want to use leverage with your other job offer. And this, in negotiation jargon, we call it BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Well, once you have that job offer, you can absolutely give your existing company a chance. You'll use that offer to negotiate a bigger deal. And of course, that's a whole other strategy for that. I'll leave that much with you, and DM me if you want to know more about how to leverage another job offer, and I'll definitely send you some strategy one-pagers that can help. Okay. So what I want from here, so this is how you can, let me get a sip of my coffee here. I was going to see if there are any comments. Okay, no comments. I'm testing out different times that works for people. That would be best for your schedules, etc. So, and again, this is gonna be a recording, so you can always catch up. If you have any comments, put it in the comment box, and I'll of course try to answer all of them. Let's see, I'm gonna just make sure. Okay, all right. So what questions do you have? What challenges do you have to this strategy? I suppose I will put it this way, because I want you to feel comfortable about this strategy, right? I want you to be poking holes and say, what if this happens? Or how is this going to work if X, Y, and Z. But what I would urge you to do is don't dismiss it, because it absolutely can and does and will work. We have to get you the courage and the ability to say, so what if I fail? So that is the mindset piece that we have to work on. And if you need help, please feel free to book a mini coaching call with me. My link is in my bio. It's 30 minutes of complimentary time where you can feel free to poke holes into the strategy, right? And I can give you some counters and give you some tips and tricks on how you can execute. You deserve to be paid for the value you bring. So don't let anybody tell you that you're being too greedy or you're being disloyal, because you should have been getting paid the right amount in the first place, right? So one thing that I will leave you with for today's live is don't negotiate against yourself. What do I mean by that? Do not negotiate against yourself means that most of us tend to club ourselves down. So we say we want to be at 200,000, but then as time passes, we say, oh, maybe 200 is too much, 180. Oh, maybe 180 is too much. Realistically, it should be around 130. When you're doing that, you're negotiating against yourself. Let your hiring manager tell you no. Let the recruiter tell you no. Your job is to present your value and back it up with all of the 3 tools that I gave you: the reciprocity, the social proof, the commitment, and present yourself as the luxury brand that you are. You are Louis Vuitton, you're Gucci, and let them tell you that, you know, the seams are not all the way matching or whatever it is, right? So don't negotiate against yourself. That is the one mantra that has helped me over and over again in my career. In negotiation deals, in business deals, in negotiating for my salary, in asking for priority projects. You know, there's so many times when you're wanting a high visibility project and you go, well, I don't have all of the qualifications, or, you know, Susan or Jeff or Joe have been here longer, so they'll probably get it. I won't ask. So all of this self-talk that we're doing to get ourselves out of the prime position or project or salary is negotiating against ourselves. So that is not our job. So please remember that. If nothing else, don't negotiate against yourself. All right. Well, that is all that I have. If you want to reach out, please book a complimentary mini coaching call, and I will see you again next time. Take care. Bye for now.